And welcome, Gyms and Gymettes, to episode number 50, 50 of No Substitute for Sports on the Degenerates Network YouTube page. Thank you, everyone, for subscribing, logging in, following, liking, all that fun stuff. And it was all for one reason and one reason only, for this moment right here. No long-winded intro this time, no plugs to get into, just thank yous and a finally. This thing on my shoulder right here is everything. We did it, ladies and gentlemen. I did it. Everyone on my team did it. We fucking won the fantasy football championship for the
Wow.
league. So huzzah, everything that I fucking wanted and needed in this whole entire world is right here in my hands right now. And that's God, it was the greatest way to start the year. It was total complete torture for 5, 6, 7 hours, however long it was.
For
But
11 years.
but by God, we did it. 11 years, like Mike just said. Yes. 11 years. And finally, it's home. It's home. I'm home. I'm at my house, but I have the belt. It's not going anywhere else. This is it. This is where it stays. Again, for anyone tuning in, not knowing, this is what we've been battling for 17 weeks. Some even prior to that, like myself, where I've been scouting and scavenging and looking and listening to podcasts and everything else, researching. Your fantasy season might be year long. This is what it's for. This is what it's for right here, ladies and gentlemen. So, a shout out to Ivan for not playing Amari Cooper, and I bid you a farewell. That was a good game right there, a true good game, an actual good game, not my like text that I put in the chat where I'm like, good game, I lose, it's over. A real GG, a real good game to you, Dom, on that one. That one was close as shit. 180.4 to 160.1 numbers I will remember forever. And that's where it is. Final right there, champion. And I want to take a second to, like I said, the joke is, yes, I'm here. I have the title. Yes, that's what it is with the fantasy. That's the whole get go. But it is truly a shout out to everyone on my team, everyone that stayed from the beginning, from the draft, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But Christian McCaffrey, Brock Purdy, Samuel, David Njoku, Amon St. Brown, Travis Etienne Jr., Isaiah Pacheco, Kenneth Walker, Rashard White. Let me see who else. Garrett Wilson was on the team for majority of the year. George Pickens, and a tons more in between. But those were the big ones right there. Mark Andrews for the big part of the season as well, and just a slew of defenses. That is what got it done. Scoring, being at the right place at the right time. That's what it is, ladies and gentlemen. That is what it finally took. And besides that, I mean, honestly, it was a little, I don't want to say luck, but just the idea that everyone on my team for the majority of the season was very healthy. So that was awesome. But there's ways to still getting around without that. But yes, having a non-injury riddled team for the majority of the season was a big part. And boy, oh boy, yes. If I had more, I would say, yeah, shout out to all their charities. Go donate if you made more money in your fantasy leagues. Go do something like that to show your appreciation. But boy, oh boy, this was the big one. I've won other championships, other fantasy seasons, and other leagues before, but this was the one. This was the one that I wanted, needed, and everything else about it. So that is the introduction. And finally, yes, just finally, I fucking did it. All that, tons more in between. But before we get underway, let me introduce you, my friend and co-host, the founder and CEO of Fatcat_Streams, Mikey J. Fatcat. How are you doing tonight?
I'm good, man. I'm over here in Cancun on vacation. I got eighth place, so I was out just chilling, hanging out, enjoying the view as the commissioner. Gotta grab this just 'cause
Hell
I still
yeah.
always have one under
Hell
my
yeah, dude.
belt.
It's on there. It's on there.
You know,
As you not as your current team, but when you were half and half. when you were Mikey when on the half and half squad. So I see you. It's on there. It'll be on there
Um,
forever. That's the great thing about this belt, ingrained in history and forever enshrined in history.
your name will be ingrained in history forever. That belt is brand new from last year. Pete was the first one to hold it, and now Nick gets it from Petey. Dom and Sebastian, the belt still eludes you, but don't give up. You always have to fight every year. It was a great season as always. The money in the this year was a nice introduction as well, I feel like.
Yes, yeah, it was.
Getting a
That
nice
helped. That helped
payout.
a little bit. Right around the
That's
holiday season, so that was good to help out a little bit there, right there.
it's
But
true.
yeah, overall, exactly that. Like you said, 11 years. So Dom and Sebastian's been here since the same thing. So he's been through the
Tom
same
joined a
ordeal.
little later, but yeah,
Yeah.
Sebastian has been here since the beginning.
But this was the third time for me in the finals. Third time is the charm. Had to get it done. Broke through the glass ceiling. Enter into the winner circle. And boy, oh boy,
Hmm.
that's that's what you wanted. That's what you needed. And I felt like this. Maybe it is just because I won. This was might be the top one, top two team I've ever had in my entire fantasy lifetime. Like this was just hands down from the get go. Oh man, and
Back.
like I said, we'll. I mean, might as well just kind of like get into the whole this whole part of it before we actually get into the recap part too. But the whole day was just anxiety ridden for sure. And I'm sure that Dom can vouch for it as well. We can maybe get Dom send some voice clips. Let us know for next week how you were feeling. But he was sitting next to us. He was there the whole time. We knew it was going to go be back and forth in a battle. But boy, oh boy, I didn't think it was going to be as close as it was. It's just I didn't think I honestly had a chance. He had 42 from CD Lamb. I'm sitting there on Saturday calling the Hinsdale Central Classic, and I just see just in my pocket, oh, 92 yards, touchdown to
Hmm.
CD Lamb. And that second half of that high school game that I was calling, I was not my tone changed.
Oh no.
No, I don't think so. It definitely wasn't affected, at least in the professional side of things. But that was a bummer. That was a real bummer. And at the time, I was down three. I come after Saturday night. Thank God, Amon St. Brown did really anything that day. And it was to the point where I didn't even want to recap. I didn't want to watch highlights of anything from that because I just didn't want to get myself all bummed out and pissed off. So I don't know. It was all in my head, all in my brain. And sure enough, like I said, just play the players. They'll go out there do something. I had everyone done by 3 o'clock because I played everyone by Thursday, Saturday, or at noon on Sunday.
There's a lot
So
of games. There's 10 games going on at once
yeah,
at 12, so
yeah. So by the time the 12 o'clock slate had ended, already 12 games had played between the 10 and then the other two. Down to three, four more, and he had five guys going at the later slate or in the night game. So I'm sitting there sweating into my shirt and just holding pillows and wrapping my sweater around my face and biting my fucking hands. I can't handle it. I threw up in your back in your bathroom. I told you that. I was so
Mhm.
goddamn nervous.
You did.
Hopefully I kept it under wraps until I just told everybody. But
I
that
did
was
not
that.
know.
Yeah, I was nervous, and that was just all nerves, and literally didn't eat really all that day. Not I had a bagel earlier in that day, but afterward when games were going on, I think yeah, two different runs to different places, and I was like, no, I can't. I could,
Yeah,
but I
I
can't.
we were offering to get him stuff and he refused. He
I
was
just needed a
so
Mountain Dew. That was the juice. That was the fuel. A little bit of water and some dews, and that's probably what ended up being why I threw up. Not just the anxiety; it was just too much Mountain Dew. Uh, but yeah, it's just that was nuts. That was absolutely a feeling of anxiety and just pure bliss that I'll probably never feel until I win it again next year. So we'll be looking forward to that every single time. Finally catch the white whale. Finally got what I needed. Whatever other else comparisons you need to make for it. Like I said, I don't want to like undersell it. Like this is I've wanted to win this league so goddamn bad, and you know that. And I just don't. I
Yeah.
just want to make sure the audience understands that. I've never wanted anything. Sorry, sweetheart. I've never wanted anything more than this goddamn title right now. So, and low key, I picked it up today. So shout out to Pete for that. I did say jokingly when we were it was the countdown right after the games, right after the Sunday night game it concluded. So I was like, you know what? Luckily this wasn't in my possession because it would have been a toss up between the gal and the belt for the midnight kiss. So uh she didn't think that was funny. Hopefully everyone else does, but well, it is what it is. Uh she's low key, honestly. He's helping trying to scout some spots where we can kind of hang up the belt and so we can have a nice spot for everything. So that's been pretty fun. So
Oh yeah.
that's been the nice part. Uh, and she's more excited about the ring than I am because she's really into jewelry. So exactly, yeah, a little bedazzling bullshit. So we'll get into that. That's all fun and games. Like I said, everyone had a fun year. It was this. I felt like this year was super competitive. Everyone had a stacked team at any given moment. Anyone could have won this league at any given time. Even when people like yourself were down and out, you weren't really up until the last 2 weeks of it, and you still could have kind of swung into it. But it's just that's our league. That's how crazy it is, and I fucking love it. So that's fantasy. That's our introduction. That's our kind of appetizer fun gimmick. I mean, there is an appetizer, kind of jump around. We'll go from fantasy to quick basketball, I suppose. This is my only basketball story. Pistons finally won a game. The snap a 28 game losing streak. So shout out to all those Wingstop employees probably working double, triple overtime, giving out all those free 5 wings for a Detroit Pistons win. Got it about a couple weeks, maybe not a couple weeks ago. A couple days ago against the Raptors. Someone had to break that streak, and that's the funniest part. The Pistons weren't trying to tank. They've been trying to win these ball
Yeah.
games, and they've been losing in such incredible, heartbreaking fashion, having like 10-point leads and just getting nuked in the fourth quarter. So absolutely hilarious. But that's Detroit. That's Detroit basketball. Any quick thoughts on the Pistons getting a win?
Good. I mean, it was a long time coming. They had one of the longest streaks in the NBA, just getting cooked by everybody left and right. But people in Detroit can be happy for one day with them, and then they got the Lions. So
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. I did like that one meme. It's always what did it cost us? It's like the Lions are doing well. What did it cost us? The Pistons. Oh.
Pistons suck.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no. It's as Bulls fans, yeah, we have to hate the fucking have to hate the Pistons. Also, yeah, there you go. Shout out to Bobby for this jacket. My guy, this is great. This fits phenomenal. Thank you very much, my guy. Yeah, so that was no, I mean, yeah, that's the Pistons. That's basketball. They have the longest active that was the longest active losing streak in a single season. I think 28 matched what the actual streak was, but that was over the course of 2 seasons, so it doesn't count, sort of kind of not really. So, yeah, it is what it is.
What?
Yeah, the 76ers had lost like 9 at the end of like 11 at the end of one year and then lost like 14 to begin in the next year or something like that or whatever the streak is. 16. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, it was over the yeah. So they had lost a ton at the end of one season and lost a ton at the beginning of the next season. So
Oh,
that was the
okay.
28 game losing streak. Yep. The more you know, I suppose. And just like that, I think I got the Bulls playing tonight. You got the Hawks playing tonight, but we no need to worry about that. I'll probably be talking about that on the sports pit as I most likely upload that after all this. But there we are. We're into week 17, recapping week 17, on to week 18. Tons of playoff scenarios in this upcoming week. I mean, just off the top of the dome, a win and you're in for the Packers. That's I'm sure you'll touch upon
Hmm.
that. A win and you're in for the Bucks. A deciding factor of who's going to get the division between the Dolphins and Bills on Sunday night. That's going to be the nightcap. If the Colts, I think the Colts and Texans are playing each other. Am I wrong? Something like that.
I'm
Whoever
not
wins,
sure.
yeah, there's like a Saturday night game. Whoever wins that, the Jags need to win. Otherwise, they most likely will be out of the playoffs. So it's a win and you're in basically for the Jags to get to win the division. Niners are already set. Cowboys and Eagles, they're tied right now, but they don't play each other. The Eagles play the Giants at New York, and the Cowboys play the Commanders. So Cowboys have the tiebreaker. If they win the division. If the Eagles win and the Cowboys lose, it flip flops. And if they both
Hmm.
lose, it goes to the Cowboys still. So there's that.
Wow.
It's NFC South gets a little bit hairier from the top off the top of the dome. Like I said, winning you're in for the Bucks. If the Bucks lose and the Saints win, it flips. I believe the Saints will get in. If the Bucks lose and the Falcons beat the Saints, I believe the Falcons then get the tiebreaker over the Saints. Then therefore get it over therefore get it over the Bucks as well. I believe, but that's a little bit of a stretch. Vikings need the most. Vikings need 3 teams to lose and to win, which is, I don't know about that.
Not happening.
Yeah, they need the Packer. From remembering, they need the Packers. Whoever in the NFC South is, depending on who could be the Bucks or it could be the Saints. They need them to lose, and Seattle. Seattle, same thing. Seattle needs the Packers to lose and to beat the Cardinals, who are actually pretty feisty, coming off a win against the Eagles. We'll get to that in just a second. I think that's just about it. Like I said, the Jags essentially a win and you're in, but they'll need the Colt. They need the Colts. They'll need the Colts and Texans to also lose probably as well. Uh am I missing any? No, I don't think so. Rams are already in. Everybody else is kind of locked up. So there you go. If I missed any, NFL, just Google search NFL Week 18 playoff scenarios. I'm not here to do all the work for you.
It'll
Kind of,
pop up right there.
yeah, it's one of the easiest things right there. So I'm literally I think I hit every single one, but if not,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you got it all.
yeah. Uh, if we're good on that, we can hit Week 17 recap. We can talk. I got some Bears to talk really quick. You got your Packers to get to, and then
Yes,
everything
sir.
else in between. How do we want to start this off?
Do you want to start with the Bears?
Yeah, we'll start it off because the table knows what he fucking wants. No, I'm sorry. I had to throw that in at least one time. Uh, but yeah, we'll start with the Bears really quick. Shout out to Allen for being at the game. He helped out. And then shout out to Kyle for being on the field. Didn't go for any passes, but he was a big help for the morale side of things. So that was humongous. Hey, coming in with a 37-17 win. Like Allen said when we were sitting there, Bears were winning from wire to wire, got the dub. Couldn't have said it. Couldn't have got anything else. Couldn't have got anything better from it. DJ Moore had a crazy game. He had a crazy game. He had a nice game. He had a phenomenal game. 9 for 159 and a score, linking it up in the snow. Actually, according to NBC Sports Chicago, he was drug tested after the game for such a great performance. Not joking. Look it up.
Wow.
Same thing with Khalil Herbert when I saw him on Christmas Eve because he had such a crazy game. He was drug tested by the league. They're doing the due diligence. They got to do what they got to do, and they got to ball. They ball out for it too. So shout out to them. Honestly, if you had him in fantasy, if you had Moore and Fields in the hook, man, you're probably also enjoying one of these right now. But that was so much fun. I even asked Alan because he's on their squads. I go, isn't it fun seeing fantasy points in real life? He goes, if it wasn't for a bad matchup, he was a part of something. Like, no, it's always good to see fantasy points, no matter. It all your placement matters. Regardless, great win. It sugarcoats what is a disappointing season for sure. If the Bears end up finishing 8-9 and spoil Packers chance at the playoffs, I will count that as a successful season. But overall on the table, You had that game against the Browns, probably should have won it. That would have been an extra win. That would have been 9. Had that lead against the Lions in Detroit, should have been another win right there. So the Bears would have, should have, could have had 10 wins. Could have possibly been a wild card or in the hunt for the division, getting 2 wins on the Lions in that case, in that scenario. But it is what it is. So that just proves to me that this pick is going to be very, very, very valuable. The Bears overall, that is honestly, besides the win, that is the number one thing. Getting the number 1 pick solidified with the Panthers loss, Cardinals winning, and all sorts of other chaos that came down with the Cardinals beating the Eagles. That solidified the Bears getting the number 1 overall pick in this draft, and that's awesome. Still have Justin Fields, and you have the number 1 overall pick, and DJ Moore, with the possibility of drafting Marvin Harrison Jr. Fuck yeah, dude. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. Count me the fuck in. Uh, I'm sure other scenarios will play out where the Bears trade down a little bit and still are able to do something like that. But boy, oh boy, you take the most talented kid in this draft, and that is Marvin Harrison Jr. I know everyone else will argue this, that, and the other about the quarterback situation. I've already said my piece a ton. You go with the guy who's shown the talent, who's shown spurts, and with another year, even if it is Matt Eberflus, give the guy a little bit of credit. Start out off 0-4, and again, a potential to end 8-9 on the year. Again, disappointing in some sense, but this is the NFL, so people are gonna look down. Should have had some bigger wins, but 5 straight home wins. That's pretty cool. I like the sound of that, back to back too. Uh,
Wow.
Overall, I liked it. I loved Fields' performance. Like I said, linking up with Moore, they're able to do just about everything they needed. Besides what, 2 broken plays on a Tyler Algier 75-yarder, and Taylor Heineke ran in a pretty, like a 17-19 yarder or something like that for a rushing touchdown. It's lax on the defense. Tyler Algier is a speedster, so I'll give him a little bit of a break right there, but that can't happen necessarily to a backup when, but overall, like I said, even though Arthur Smith has proven the fact that he could use his talent but chooses not to, nice to see that essentially Bijan Robinson was not useful. Kyle Pitts, Drake London, non-factors. It was just that Taylor Heineke couldn't really handle the snow, couldn't handle the elements. Bears took advantage of it, and that was that. So shout out to it. Shout out to the number 1 overall pick. Uh,
Hmm.
I'm kind of in that boat of next week, of course, play Fields, play like any other week. You're going to go in there and try and battle the Green Bay Packers. They're trying to make a move for a spot. Fields is not necessarily battling for his job anymore, but again, get him out there, get his boost his ego if he's going to have a good game, and again, cause some chaos, knock the Packers out of contention. Ending 8-9 is nice, but if it does get out of hand for the Bears, halftime, if it's a bigger lead than you need, like kind of how it was in this Sunday night game, if the Packers are up 30-3, 30-10, bench Fields. No need to get him hurt for the next season. No need on that. So that's kind of my thoughts on this, thoughts on next week, this, that, and the other. With that, go Bears. Huge fucking dub. And like I said, kind of putting a lighter note to this sad tune of a whole season, I suppose. So any thoughts, questions, concerns on them Bears? Again, getting that 37-17 dub against the Falcons, against them dirty birds.
Yeah, I mean, Bears just rocking and rolling right now. Had a very bad start to the season, but starting to figure it all out. It seems like similar to last year, the second half they were cooking it up. Now they're starting to cook it again right now. Justin Fields doing decent. Seems like they're starting to get hot right now,
I,
unfortunately.
I also don't want to another excuse. The Bears were hurt a ton at the beginning of the year, so there was that also. So it was really hard getting everyone together. I don't think everyone was fully healthy probably until well, probably until they started winning. So like week 4, week 5. So that's kind of where it was. Sorry, I hate to cut you off.
No, you're good. Uh, yeah, I mean, but like it's a 5 straight home wins. That's awesome. They're defending their turf. They don't give a damn whoever comes in there. They're beating their ass, and I love that. But it's gonna be a tough game when they come and step into Lambeau on Sunday, man. So we'll talk about that, but good on the Bears for what they're doing. It's definitely good momentum and hype for the locker room and good f for Eberflus and company because they would have been fired if they kept doing bad. So he's able
Yeah.
to step up and they step up when they need to and it seems like they'll all have their jobs going into next year, including Fields. So
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, I was kind of putting that together just now too. Like, if you would think if Eberflus is back, then if so facto Fields is basically back too, just because changing the guard, changing the regime. Like, why? I already said it last week. I'm pretty sure, or either on the sports, but too. Like, what makes you think that if Fields is struggling like everyone thinks he is in this Bears current situation, why would a 22-year-old rookie all of a sudden start be so perfect in there? And I get it. We see the one outlier of CJ Stroud right now. That's enticing, but ding dong. Not everyone's CJ Stroud. Not everyone had that luxury of drafting CJ Stroud. There's not CJ Strouds galore everywhere. There is 32 people that play quarterback in this league, and half of them aren't very fucking good. So
hmm.
to think that, like, oh, that kid, that young man right there, the one with the painted nails, or the one that no one even knows his fucking name, he's gonna carry the franchise. No, it's just let's just keep rolling with a kid, with a guy that we know has been there, done that. That's Justin Fields. Confidence is key. So there you go. Go
Yeah.
Bears. There you go. How are the Packers? How was Sunday night? How was that? I mean, I enjoyed it, but how did you enjoy
And you wait all day for a Sunday night.
it? What a picture right there. There you go.
Jordan Love and Aaron Jones get to enjoy champagne, and since they don't get turkey,
Fair.
they're partying it up after fucking up Minnesota in their stadium 33-10. Packers needed to win this game badly. Have had some rough past couple games in the second half, and they needed to win. And of course, it's going to come down to this last game in regards of making the playoffs against the Bears. Of course it is. It's just of course. It I
And
always
I hope it
hate to
comes down to the last play in the fourth quarter with 7 seconds to go. And I don't care who it is on either side. If they're up, down two, and they got to play. I hope it comes down to the very last play on either side. I can't wait. That's gonna be such
I
a fun game. I'm gonna be honest. Odds are stacked against the Bears. 325 game in Lambeau on CBS. Bears aren't a CBS team. They're a Fox team. I know they beat the Falcons last week on
what does that have to do with anything?
I knew I was gonna get that reaction, and I don't appreciate it. The Bears are a Fox noon team, and people that know that.
Well, I guess that's good for the
That's what I'm
Packers
saying.
then.
That's what I'm saying. So you got nothing to worry about, nothing at all,
It's
except for
going,
Jaquan Brisker sniffing down Jordan Love's neck. I'm sorry,
yeah,
what?
the defense has been red hot. Fields cooking it up. It's going to be a tough game for sure. I don't think it's going to just be a walk in the park. The Bears, as we've been talking about before, they're playing very well right now. And it's definitely a lot of momentum or a lot of like they would want to knock the Packers out of the playoffs for sure. I guarantee they're all thinking that and talking about that. So it's a lot on their side. I mean, they have nothing to lose. They're They're just going out there to try to knock them
That
out.
that
And
should be the mentality for the Bears. Not do not check out right now. People still got to get their the contract obligations and stuff like that, and this goal that if you just really hate the Packers, this is your time to fuck them over. So there you
yeah,
have it. Yeah.
coming down to this rivalry, and of course, in the like we were saying, in a game like this, just it'll be one to watch for sure. I'll be on the edge of my seat. Even if the Packers make the playoffs, though, we will probably get destroyed by whoever we play. If it's the 49ers or I don't know who we would have to play if we made it, but
Do you know what seed they would be? Would they be the seventh or sixth seed?
I'm honestly not. I assume we would be the seventh, which we would have to play the 49ers if we were the last seed.
No, you'd play the Cowboys probably.
Don't they, wouldn't they get a bye if they're the top seed?
No, the Niners already clinched
Oh,
the number one
they've,
seed.
oh, we could beat the Cowboys.
Yeah, I feel like the Cowboys are going to be that team that drops their home game. There will be something Mike McCarthy does that completely fucks
Like
this
they
game
do
that
all the
game over.
time.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, and it'll be competitive and it'll be high scoring, but it'll be come down to a couple like one misstep that Mike McCarthy draws up and it fucks over everything. And sure enough, it'll mismanage time and they'll set up for a game winning field goal or something like that. He will mismanage this game, guaranteed. Whatever that first round wild card is, he will fuck it up. So maybe pray that they're playing the Cowboys in that regard. I'm sure it might be a fun one, probably between like you know Lions and Rams. Maybe that'd be pretty interesting. Goff versus the Rams,
Yeah.
his former squad,
And but then
and
it would
then
also be Stafford versus the Lions,
and
which
that same flip flop exactly. And then what would it be? Eagles and who's the third? Then it would be Eagles and Bucks probably. Eagles and Saints. Whoever wins the NFC South,
we
Eagles by
all
a
know
mile.
we all want to see Browns versus Ravens.
That's yes, that's the only thing really that we'd want to see for sure. Browns Ravens somewhere down the line. Yeah, and
Be
I mean
awesome.
Ravens, I believe, clinched that number one seed with their just they pants the Dolphins like 56-19. So they really just had their way.
I saw a post that was like, we're gonna get Stafford and Goff against their old teams, and Joe Flacco versus Ravens script writers went crazy
They
this
went
year.
crazy this year. I've been saying the same thing too. There's another successful writing room meeting. um, Aubrey, did you have any other final thoughts
Yeah,
on
Jordan
Packers?
Love is the future. He threw 256 yards, three touchdowns, one of them going to Bo Melton, who just signed with the team after his crazy game of 100 yards.
I mean,
No,
Jordan Love could have helped some fantasy people when their league. Jaden Reed, he was on my bench. He could have helped out
two
too. Fuck,
touchdowns.
he had two big
He-
ones. Even though he left the game, he had 26 in our league.
Wow.
Yeah,
So, I
that was
mean,
pretty awesome.
I love Jordan Love. I got his jersey. I should have put it on, but I was feeling like Jackie Moon. I'm excited about the future of this team, and I mean, regardless of how this season ends, it was way more than I expected. And when we were recapping, talking about how we thought the season would go before they started, I remember saying the Packers were not going to hit their over on wins. We're probably going to hit the under. We're probably not going to do that well, and they definitely surprised me. It's had its ups and downs for sure, as any team does. And they're not the fucking Chiefs or the Eagles or these top teams, but the Packers will always be the Packers. They're run very well. And just again, I talked so much shit about Jordan Love, and I got his jersey now, and it's just crazy. Such a turn of when I've said it before, I'm sure on the podcast when they drafted him, I got up, walked to my room, and that was it for the night. I was so mad because I knew what it would lead to, and it exactly led to that. Aaron Rodgers was definitely upset about it a little bit, and it could have led to him leaving, but it seems like it worked out the best way possible it could have. We still got something for him in a trade. Jordan Love's ending up being a great quarterback. I mean, this season, he's been great in his
He's the
first
number
season.
6 in fantasy. He's the number 6 quarterback in fantasy this year.
Amazing.
Yeah.
His first full season as a starter. And I said all those times he had to learn stuff from Aaron Rodgers. And I see some of these passes he throws, some of these clips. I mean, very Aaron Rodgers-esque, very just deliberately placed, beautiful ball placement. He's doing like jump passes and he threw like a
Yeah, they showed that Brett
30-yard jump
Favre.
pass.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
That Brett Favre comp was cool to see.
it's just he's very good quarterback and he's pretty tall. He can run, very good arm. I mean, he's got everything that a quarterback needs. It seems
And a
like the
young
team.
core that he's going to continue to just gel and gel with as long as they keep it all together. I mean, I don't know what the game plan would be exactly. I'm sure bodies will come and go, but if they keep a consistent core of Watson, Dubs, Reed, uh,
Oh, Reed was a
uh,
steal of the draft this year for us. I mean, he
yeah,
was been so good this
he's
year.
been he's been nice. He's been nice, and I keep, like I said, I keep looking at Jordan Love stats. At least in our league, I would think he was either under or just at his projection maybe 4 times this year, four or 5 times, depending on what the number was at.
Like he boomed the rest.
I would think so. I mean, 16 against the Lions in week 4, and then he had a 2 point game in week 5. Uh, two back-to-back 14-point games in week 8 and 9, but otherwise 28, 26, 25, 18, 18, 22, 32, 29, 20, 27, 34. That
Wow.
is that is solid. That's, like I said, a little out of order. And then it was like that game against the Giants, an outlier, 9 points, but 341 points in total so far. I know people go into week 18 sometimes, but you're a lunatic. But
Yeah, not everyone starts.
341 points on the season, finishing at 6. If you're, like you said, if leagues are done right now, that's great. That's great. That is, like I said, it's disappointing as a Bears fan to see that, but overall, just that is awesome to see if as a Packers fan. So they did it. They've done. I've heard it and I've been relaying it ever since. They did something what other franchises should do. What get away from the trend of drafting the number 1 overall pick and having that be hoping that just turns everything around. Instead, drafting a quarterback when you don't necessarily need a quarterback, letting them learn under phenomenal talent, and sure enough, when their time comes, they'll show up. And that so far so good with this, lack of a better word, an experiment with the Packers and Jordan Love. So there you have it. Unfortunately I doff my cap in that regard. So
Yeah,
with that being said, Bears are gonna stomp on his fucking head next week and make sure that they don't get into playoffs. No, but that'll be a fun game. That's got tons of storylines and everything else in between. That'll be
oh, it's I'm gonna be on the edge of my seat. I'll be on the all Bears fans will too. I mean, there's gonna be Bears Super Bowl. I mean, I will not hear the end of this if the Bears win. The Bears
yeah.
fans are gonna treat this like a Super Bowl. So
On 15 completed passes last time, all the way at the beginning of the season though. 254, 3 touchdowns, and yeah, didn't I think only got sacked 1 time. That was that. That
Jordan
was
Love,
that's Jordan Love.
future.
A very solid season for the young man. Technically not his rookie season, obviously, but his first full year of playing. And he played every single game. So there you go. That's another, Iron Man type deal. It's a good on them. Good on that kid.
Yeah. I love
Um,
what you said. I mean, yeah, the Packers went against the grain kind of. They drafted him when they did not need a quarterback at all. And it really did end up working out. Him being able to learn from Aaron Rodgers, who I'm sure Aaron Rodgers says he still talks to Jordan Love and texts him and stuff, so I'm sure they have a good relationship and
that's cool.
he
That's cool
taught
to
him a
hear.
bunch of shit and it's awesome to see for sure.
Yeah,
Go
no,
pro
hearing him, it doesn't seem like, he doesn't seem like a shithead. He seems like he's very respectful. So that's awesome to hear. If we're good on that, we can go ahead and hit the rest of the week 17 on the quicks, talk a little fantasy, and like I said, a little bit of wrestling. We'll get on out of here. Yeah,
Happy
get
New
on out of here
Year.
unskeeved. Yes, very
I'm
very much so. I completely jumped over that. This is our first episode of the new year, obviously 2024. So thank you for everyone that was able to. If you may be able to make it to 2024, new year, new you. Cheers. Uh, I really wish I had put my Chris Jericho bubbly on ice, but he's in some hot water. More on that later. Uh, hopefully that was a good plug. Uh, y'all good or am I disconnected? Oh, ah, shit. Oh, there you go. Cheers on that one, brother. All righty.
We're back.
There we go. Good. Just want to make sure we're good. Yeah, like I said, Jericho, you got some bubbly on there. Not on ice because he's in hot water. Hopefully, you just want to make sure you heard that one.
Did you
Uh,
pop the bubbly?
nah, not yet. Not yet. Sitting on it a little bit. Don't worry. Don't worry. It'll get some use soon. Uh, Bounce around back to the NFL, back to Thursday. Joe Flacco and the Browns take down the Jets team that just had no chance in hell. It was like 37-20, if I'm not mistaken. There was tons of fantasy implications there. Thank you, David Njoku. But Joe Flacco leading the way for the Browns. They clinch a playoff spot. They clinch a playoff berth. He needs to get comeback player of the year. And this argument's going around all over the internet. Yes, I get it. Damar Hamlin, such a nice story. At the end of the day, it needs to go to people that have created and produced stats and produced things on the field. And I hate to sound like a cold-blooded monster, but I'm not the only one that shares this same feeling. So again, it's a great story. If you want to create a whole nother Damar Hamlin award that you just give to him, to people that survived the NFL, fine. It needs to go to Joe Flacco. And I don't even have any money on this. I get it. Everyone keeps posting it with the odds difference. It needs to go to Joe Flacco because this story is crazy. A guy that's coming off the couch, and again, everyone makes this argument that this is the hardest position, not only in the game of football, but possibly in the entire world of sports, playing quarterback. So this guy who hasn't played much comes out of nowhere and is leading this Browns team to a playoff berth. And they are the first team to have 4 quarterbacks start and then to be led into a playoff berth. That's all Joe Flacco. That's not DTR. That's not Watson. That's not who the hell else was their third quarterback. I don't know.
Yeah, who else?
I can't even think off the top of the dome. But yeah, it's Joe Flacco. It's all Joe. A little bit of David Njoku. And Amari Cooper helped a lot too, but it's cool Joe. It's Joe cool. So I think he needs to get the award. That's it. That's my thoughts on that. Any thoughts on the game? Any thoughts on the comeback player of the year?
Yeah, the comeback player of the year should go to the player that's played the most and came back and played well. Joe Flacco chumming off the couch, cooking teams up left and right, carving them up like turkey on Thanksgiving. And you're gonna give it to Damar Hamlin respectfully. He's started one game this year when someone was out. He only started because the other safety wasn't playing. And I don't know his stats on the game,
I
but
think he has 2 tackles on the year.
well, there you go. I mean, you could even say like Baker Mayfield is more deserving of comeback player
You
of
know
the
what?
year than
Yeah,
him.
I would
mean,
definitely throw in Baker Mayfield's name before I would go Damar Hamlin. Because again, all right, different in position. Baker Mayfield's been playing all year. Again, a chance, a win and you're in, possibly for the Bucks, who again, I thought they were going to be bottom of the barrel. I don't even remember. I think we took the Saints or maybe even the Falcons. I think I took the Falcons to win that division. Nowhere did we think the Bucks were going to be close and they have a chance to win that division. So I would take
I picked
Baker.
the Bucks
Yeah.
winning.
Yeah, you did. I think you did. Yes, you definitely did.
But Mayfield, I mean, yeah, again, a guy that everyone wrote off, and he's just
He's found a home now too with that. Oh,
oh
sorry, my
yeah, I
shoulder's
mean
getting.
the he'll definitely be the quarterback for the Buccaneers now.
I think so. Sorry, my shoulder's getting a little tired. I'll have to switch over. This thing's heavy. This thing is a fucking monster. Uh, but yeah, that's Joe Cool. That's the Browns. Um, let's go Eagles Cardinals. How's that sound? Oh, of course,
Yeah.
my my internet's unstable. We'll see how that
No.
rolls. I know. Eagles drop one of the Cardinals. That caused so much chaos. Gave the Bears basically the number one overall pick because the Cardinals wouldn't have been able to been there anymore. It set up for the Eagles not to be able to win their division automatically, that type deal. So like I said, we already went through the scenarios right there. But overall, just in that game, cannot lose, cannot lose to the Cardinals. Eagles, are you serious? You're supposed to be the more dominant bird in this situation, and you drop it to the Cardinals. Overall, huge one. I know the Kyler Murray's been putting it together a little bit, and even though they've been having some losses, James Conner's been having putting together some decent games as well. But Eagles have to have that killer instinct, need to be smothering teams. And it's been like this all season long. And I've been saying that all season long. Come out there, you play the way that you do. You don't jump out ahead by 30. You just kind of let them stroll along and you beat them up and you run and you tush push and you win by 11, maybe. Uh, it's just not enough. Clearly was not enough right there, and left the window wide open for the Cardinals to play spoiler and fuck everything up. And sure enough, they did. They want to end on a high note. They weren't anything to just slap together with, because like I said, they got contracts, everything else, everything right there for everyone on that team, especially the Cardinals. It's just demo work, demo material, highlight tape for the next team. So that's how that's going to work for them. So they're gonna want to go out there and compete. Of their 4 wins, I think they've beaten the Vikings. Oh man, I remembered in the beginning. The Vikings. That's okay. The other team is also the other two team. The other team they beat was irrelevant, but it was them, the Vikings, the Cowboys, and the Eagles. That's their 4 wins. Those are the Cardinals' 4 wins, and yeah, disgusting. So bad loss without a doubt. Thoughts on Cardinals Eagles?
Yikes. Eagles that continue to blow games against these teams. I mean, I don't know if they're going to be up to standard in the playoffs if you're going to lose to teams like the Cardinals. I mean, you need to win this game bad, and yeah, it's just a tough look right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, that was somewhat connected to the Cowboys, who had won already on Saturday. What were your? I kind of jumped, like I said, jumping all over the place. So we'll jump back to Saturday. What were your thoughts on Dan Campbell's need to go for 2, 3 different times? What was your thoughts on that call? The 2 point conversion, lack of referees giving a fuck about their job. I'm glad
That
that
was dumb
officiating
as hell.
crew is not going to be doing playoff games, so shout out to that. Yeah, well, what you actually saw that game? Like I said, I was calling some high school basketball games. That was pretty cool. The Hinsdale Central Classic. Shout
Hell
out to
yeah.
that. But yeah, you actually took a gander, watched that game, saw CD Lamb try and ruin my life. What were your thoughts?
Um, yeah, I mean, the right at the end there, the both of the O linemen go up to the ref, and I assume that he reports as eligible, but the ref does
Definitely
not
not asking
says he
about their
does not.
fucking day.
Yeah. So ref says he didn't. There's a video of them literally up to the ref saying they do. Rob them of the 2 point conversion, but then they go for it again. Don't get it. I mean, it's still, I feel like you should just go for the extra point because I get that they want to win in Dallas at their stadium. But even after they the 2 point conversion got robbed from them, then go for the extra point. I mean,
Yeah. I believe it
you
was it
just
was that and the Micah Parsons call, and then they ended up just not getting it at the third try or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that ended up being that. To be fair, I know it was really, I mean, aggressive is putting it lightly. Dan Campbell going for 2, 3 times. But they were still fighting for something. They were, if they had won that game and win next week, they would be having a chance for the number 1 seed in just overall in the NFC. But clearly with the Niners winning and the way that the Cardinals and Eagles played out, the Niners get the number 1 overall seed. But like I said, I can see it from that lens. But again, like you just said, you don't get it the first time. Okay, fine. Go for it again. You get bailed out. Fucking go for the extra point at that in that sense. Already proved that you can kind of get down the field and score on this Dallas defense. Why not just roll the dice and trust your offense? So
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
that was just my
questionable
thoughts.
call at the end of the game, but Dan Campbell, I can't deny that he doesn't give a damn when it comes to stuff like that. He'll try anything, fake punts, any of that stuff, going for two to win the game. I mean, that's why people love him, and he's willing to take those kind of risks. So,
Yeah,
I mean, props to him for going for it, but just did
absolutely.
not work out.
Yeah, I think that might have cost him his coach of the year candidacy. Honestly, a lot of people have been saying that just
Wow.
that move, the way that the record can play out. But I mean, it's that it should probably go to the Browns head coach or maybe the Texans head coach if they maybe can clinch a wild card spot. We'll see how that plays out. That's just my thoughts right there. Forget on that game. Ravens pants the Dolphins. Not really all too much there. Ravens or Dolphins are kind of just banged up. Not a lot of Tyreek Hill. Jalen Wild didn't play the entire game. No Raheem Mostert, and I believe Jalen Ramsey was questionable with his knee, so he might have played, might have sat back a little bit as well. So, any takeaways from that Ravens and Dolphins game? Other than I know Isaiah Likely 2 catches, 54, however many yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean, I just saw them on cooking them up on Red Zone constantly. Just Lamar, I think, threw 5 touchdowns,
Yeah,
and
that was also the big talk. Is Lamar in MVP talk. Thoughts on that as well?
I mean, he's definitely one of the best quarterbacks right now. Brock Purdy, he passed them up after they beat them. So, and the Ravens are arguably the best team right now. So, I mean, it's tough to argue against Lamar, but it just seems like he came out of nowhere in the MVP conversations. But I
Yeah,
guess
he was a sleeper. He was a subtle sleeper. The stats might not jump out at you, but the fact that the Ravens are winning and he's played a full season essentially, I could definitely see a case for Lamar Jackson.
yeah. I mean, everyone says McCaffrey or something, which he could definitely deserve, but
Yeah,
we
yeah.
just know it won't happen. So Lamar's probably the best quarterback right now.
Yeah, I think so. Bills still not looking good. 27-21 win over the
Hmm.
Patriots. Their defense showed up, their offense not so much, even though they scored a little bit as well. Yeah, I've said, like I said, I've said this before. And I was sitting there, same deal. If you're any other team in the AFC, you see the Bills in the playoffs, you're fine with that. You're more than okay with that. If it was a year or two ago, you'd be like, oh no, the Bills. But now you're like, oh yeah, it's the Bills. It's them frauds right there. Bring on the frauds. Bring on all the tables. Bring on all those drunks. They're gonna be yeah, jump off of the fucking car. Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Wow. And shout out to we've jumped through some tables ourselves. No problem there. But
We have.
uh, we just keep it in the ring, obviously. Uh,
Yeah, we got put through tables. We don't jump through them ourselves.
that's true. That's a better way to put it. Overall, I think the fraudulent Bills will go down early on if they were making, if they were making Bailey Zappi and the Patriots look good. I don't think there's gonna be much competitiveness in that
Yeah,
one.
that's not good.
Yeah, thoughts on the Bills at all?
Well, yeah, they're in a situation now where they also need to win and they're in. And if they lose, they're out.
Yep.
So,
Yeah,
of
that's gonna be
course.
fun. Yeah, that's Sunday night game. Bills Dolphins for the division. That's gonna be so good. Dolphins just let them trickle right back in. Their December record over the past like 8 years is atrocious. Take a look at it yourself. Uh, Colts staying competitive. You know, they stay in the wild card race. They get a win over the Raiders. I think that was just kind of back and forth. Didn't see a ton from that game. I mean, just the Colts kind of should just beat the Raiders and Aiden O'Connell. Any thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I didn't see too much from it, but yeah, good on the Colts. They've been a feisty team all year
Yeah.
without Richardson.
And yeah,
Yeah, they
they could have
continue to
been a
win.
team that could have just packed it in as soon as their young rookie quarterback went down. But Gardner Minshew said, "Fuck that! Get on my back. We're gonna be fine. We're gonna be more than fine because I'm gonna throw it to Michael Pittman
Oh,
Jr. all year, and he's gonna dominate." And then was like, "Oh, you like that? Here's Alec Pierce for 58 yards." So that's just kind of how it's been down there in the Colts situation. So that's been fun. That, like I said, I did a good bounce back for a league or a division which didn't think this would be as competitive as it is right now. It's coming down to the wire, so that's awesome. Stay on the same note. Jags took care of the Panthers. They beat them 26 nothing. As a Bears fan, thank you. Like I said, solidified the Panthers losing. Cardinals helped out a little bit too, but the Panthers getting that number one overall pick. Therefore, the Bears get the number one overall pick. Love it. And Travis Etienne Jr., love you, buddy. This one's probably a lot because of you on this one for sure. So love you on that one. Any thoughts, Jags, on that Jags Panthers?
yeah, the Jags are also in a tough spot after having a decent start of the season. Can they need to win to make, are they in the playoffs or they
The
need to win to make?
Jags, not
Yeah.
just yet. It is they need to see what happens with the Texans and the Colts. I believe one of them plays on Saturday. And I think if the Texans win, the Jags will need to win on Sunday. So that's basically the storyline. That's what
Okay.
they're setting up for. So
So,
Jags need to win is the benefit is the
okay. And
storyline.
Texans need to win then
Texans need
too.
to win as well, but they will then need the Jags to lose to get in there because they have the tiebreaker over them.
Okay. There's a lot of implications in these
Oh,
playoffs.
yep.
Seems like there's a lot of teams in the running.
Yep. That's why it was basically all flexed out. They didn't show anything on Red Zone. They were like, "Oh, where's the schedule?" They're like, "Oh, they're cooking it up in the lab to make sure they're all the good playoff games, everything's right where it should be." So that's awesome.
Hell
Let's
yeah.
see. Texans handle the Levi list, Will Levis list Titans. Uh, I didn't.
Levi.
Yeah, Levi, Levis list Titans. Levi. God damn it. Yeah. Uh, any thoughts on that one?
They suck.
Sure. Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. Uh, Rams almost drop one of the Giants. That was 26-25 if I'm not mistaken. Any thoughts on the Rams and the Giants?
Yeah, I mean the Rams need to win that game, so
Yes, they did. That was very important. They clinched a playoff berth because of it.
came down to the wire. Puka continues to cook. Uh,
Yes.
one of the best rookies by far,
Yes.
and he
Yes,
will
yes,
help
yes.
them out in this playoff run.
Hell yeah. I mean he's gonna help that out. He's gonna help out fantasy teams for years to come. Uh probably the steal of all of the league. Most people
Oh
for
yeah,
sure. Let's see. Bucks or yeah, Saints smother the Bucks besides, you know, some last second efforts, and that's making that made that division very interesting. Like I said, already went through the playoff implications. The Bucks are a win and you're in because of the tiebreakers over the Saints and the Falcons. But if the Bucks lose, there's some chaos that can happen. Like I mentioned, Saints would need to win, Falcons would need to win. That one of them will win. But if the Bucks lose, they're going to need that game to tie. So again, craziness can unfold in that. Uh, Niners clinched the number one seed when they went ahead and just took care of the Commanders. Any thoughts on that game? And I just didn't ask you about the Saints game either. Any thoughts on those two? Oh shit! Come on back. There we go. You're back.
yeah.
Back. Okay,
Well,
cool.
Commanders they got destroyed.
Yeah.
Brock Purdy. Debo, McCaffrey, Kittle, everyone continues to rock and roll. They secure number one seed, rightfully so.
And I like their reaction. They were watching the game when
I saw that.
yeah, they were watching when the Cardinals beat the
The
Eagles.
Eagles, yeah, they got so excited.
That's awesome. You love when you're yeah, that's a good bro moment. Let's see. Steelers give Mike Tomlin another winning season and a better chance of making the playoffs, possibly.
Thanks to Mason Rudolph.
Yeah, you would think if they threw in Rudolph instead of Mitch at that other week, they would
Oh,
have an even better shot. But wah, wah. It is what it is. That's the Seahawks squad. That was a tough loss for them. Like I said, they have a chance to get in the playoffs still, but not as good as it should have been. Pacheco runs wild all over the Bengals, and the Chiefs get a win right there. Any thoughts on that game?
uh, Chiefs also in a weird spot this season, but not as
Good way
dominant
to
as
put
they
it.
usually are. So they want to get these wins at the end and want to start getting hot when the playoffs start. Any
Yeah,
team that gets in there. So I mean, the Chiefs are still the Chiefs. They'll be dangerous no matter what. So
yeah. I don't want to play the what if game, but if Joe Burrow was in there, could have been more interesting. I don't want to say a guaranteed win, but would have been
you
much
never know.
tougher. Would have been much tougher. The Chiefs are a good defense, so like I said, we'll never know. Not gonna rock the boat. I'm not even. Doesn't really matter. Doesn't really compare. It doesn't
One of
really
the
matter.
better defenses they've had.
Yes, absolutely. Let's see. Kind of wrapping it up here. Broncos win barely. Chargers are just awful, and I mean, just kind of get it in fantasy, but Austin Eckler may have been just the worst pick this year, honestly. And I drafted him in. I'm not trying to dog on you because you have him this year. I drafted him in my other league for my brother. He was beyond disappointing, and in multiple times throughout the year where I was saying to myself, should I bench Austin Eckler? Nah, he's Austin Eckler. He'll turn it around. And whether it was just the awful coaching, play calling, or just maybe the lingering injury on Austin Eckler that did him in, but he had a downright just awful season this year and just very disappointing. So, like I said, I don't want to hate on him. I know he didn't want that to happen. He's going into a contract year, even though he got paid for this year. And he himself is a big fantasy football guy. He has himself on teams, so he wants to do well. So that's what I mean. That was just my thoughts in general on that. That was my big takeaway. I think he probably should have negotiated, like, if Keenan Allen's sitting out, can you guys make up a fucking injury for me so I don't have to go out there and, for lack of a better word, embarrass myself out here? Like, this is ridiculous. Yeah, Quinn Johnson's out there dropping balls. Why do I got to be out here fumbling? Just give it to Joshua Kelly. Give it to somebody else. Give it to Isaiah Spiller. I don't know. That was just my thoughts on that in general. Eckler, down season for sure. I'm sure, but he's going to get in the lab and bounce right back. I know he's going to have it in there. Maybe on a different team. Maybe on a different team. I think
Mm,
that might cure it. I know maybe having a better coach like, I don't know, Bill Belichick or Jim Harbaugh is the Chargers head coach might help out. But I think Eckler might just benefit from being on some different scenery. Overall thought. I mean, any thoughts on that game? Any thoughts on my comments right there? Like I said, I don't want to hate on your guy because I personally love Austin Eckler. I think he's awesome.
yeah, Austin Eckler was just I was so excited to have him this year and just yeah, very disappointment. I was going to get into it more with the fantasy talk, but I mean, yeah, he was just I picked him over McCaffrey thinking he was going to cook. That did not work. So, I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, we can hold up. We can hold up because, like I said, I do want to do like a studs and duds type deal with our fantasy talk. Um, Hall has no pass as the Packers demolish the Vikings on Sunday Night Football. You like that one? Do you like that one, Jalen Hall?
Yeah,
Yeah, he got fucked up, and yeah, like I said, you already talked about the Packers, so
they took him out.
yeah. I just had that. I just had this at the bottom of my notes. I just figured I had to
Had
get
to
that one
throw
in
that
there.
in there.
Had to get that one in there. Hall had no pass. Literally. got fucked up and he was benched. And came Nick Mullins, not the Come Town comedian, just Nick Mullins from quarterback. Yeah, that was that. Actually, big news that was lingering. Dalvin Cook released by the Jets today. How about it? After this big hoopla, I'm sorry, Aaron Rodgers. He needs to go into podcasting and just do not become a manager of a football team because everyone you brought to the Jets sucks out loud. I mean, holy Toledo.
Oh,
Yeah. I mean, between, oh, Lord Almighty, Alan Lazard hasn't shown up. Randall Cobb, he's a good character, he's a good personality. Dog shit. Tim Boyle, Dalvin Cook, I think he's averaging probably 1.5 yards a carry, 2 yards a carry this season.
oh
That's
no.
awful. I can probably get that. Yeah, me trying, but that's not good. Uh, yeah, I think that was the big breaking news, other than just the playoff scenarios and stuff like that. So, any other final thoughts, lingering thoughts on the NFL?
Um, no, I think that's all. But also, I mean, I feel like he got put in a shitty situation. Dalvin Cook, he never really got opportunities, but
Yeah,
it
I mean, it should have been the Brees Hall show. I mean, for Dalvin to think that he would have been thriving and been the starter was that was a pipe dream. He could have had a better opportunity on maybe I don't know. He honestly could have probably given like James Cook a run from his money up in the Bills or something like that. Or
his brother.
yeah, low key. For a second, I literally didn't even put that two and two together.
Just go
But
take his
I,
brother's
yeah,
job.
just be the big brother, just be a big brother, and just take his brother's job. Yeah, take this, sit this one out there, guy. I mean, if Raheem Mostert wasn't having a 20 plus touchdown season, I would say that, but Raheem Mostert's having a 20 plus touchdown season
And then
this year.
A-Chan is on that team
Yeah,
too.
Achan's the fastest human on the planet, and so he's not going to touch him there. So it's just slim pickings. Again, maybe on the Broncos to fight Javante Williams, but
Yeah, I mean, honestly,
Javante's
not a lot of teams that need like a running back, a starting running back. So
Panthers, Hubbard. I think he could beat out Hubbard and or Miles Sanders, but that's just me. Whatever. We don't need to name teams. Regardless, Delvin Cook cut, but Melvin Gordon is on a team somehow, some way. I
no,
don't.
he's not.
Yeah, he is. He got signed by the Ravens. I'm pretty sure. Uh,
Wow.
I think he scored a touchdown if I'm not mistaken. Finally, let's. Yeah, no, that's that. That is just the NFL recap and everything right there. I want to just quickly tap into some fantasy. I know we started off with it with my victory lap essentially on the year, but we can kind of just get into the actual games really quick. We don't need a deep dive on everyone's game. Just kind of hit the finals, see everyone where everyone was in this just the final standings, and then just hit our draft. Kind of go back and reminisce about our own personal draft. Kind of look quickly and see where anyone reached, where anyone hit. Studs and duds, biggest waiver moves type deal. We can hit all those main spots, but uh, without, I mean, just I think we quickly ended with kind of already started with my game, so I'll just finish it off with my game really quick. I was last at last week, so like I said, one won the spoiler, won the title, 180.4 to 160.1. It was just the consistency factor. I had 21 from Purdy, uh, 18 from Debo, 22 from Amonra, 17 from Ninjoku, essentially 30 from Etienne. I threw in Zamir White. I should have thrown in Pacheco, but I threw in Zamir White, and he still got 15 from me. 16 and a half from Kaimi Fairbairn, and 20 from the defense. So Rasul Douglas, and again, maybe even thanks to the Packers on that one for trading Rasul Douglas. Right place, right time. Defensive interception for a touchdown. They balled out. They just ate up Bailey Zappi and the Patriots. Like I said, could have went to the bench. could have got some more points. He could have got some more points, but I think the optimized lineup would have been my side either way. I'm just pulling up that full on optimized lineup where I would see the total scores. Well, or my screen can go completely black too. That's cool. But either way, I think I would have won regardless. He had Rishi Rice on the bench. I also had Pacheco, so probably got some extra points there. It wasn't without the sweating. It wasn't without the sweating. CD Lamb had 42. I had to worry about Aaron Jones and Justin Jefferson in the last game of the NFL fantasy season. I was shitting my pants, only being up 40, I think, 45 maybe. But
Hmm.
like I said, of course, Harrison Butker had to have 24. He started just about everyone right, except for, like I said, except for Rishi Rice. Uh, just glad that Mahomes wasn't wasn't doing anything crazy. Chuba Hubbard didn't do anything crazy as well. It was just the guys that always did a bunch of stuff relaxing. So thank you for that, for not having the a bonkers game. Justin Jefferson and Mike Evans and Nico Collins doing good, but not good enough. So that was that 180.4 to 160.1, forever ingrained in my brain. A real GG to Dom, who battled all the way through. A guy who a win loss here. He had a tiebreaker over you guys, I think, and he got in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So sitting at 6-8, he was the sixth seed. He was a wild card or something like that in that sense. He was the last spot to get into the playoffs. He made it to the fantasy Super Bowl. First time there, I believe. Uh, and I'm just sorry. I'm sorry, dude. Like, it's just priority. I've been here 3 times now. It's my turn. Maybe you'll get yours. Now
Hmm.
while I now not in my lifetime. But we'll see. That was a good one. He had a great team. Like I said, I was legit. I wasn't trying to put on a front. He had a legit. He's here for a reason. Mahomes, Justin Jefferson, CD Lamb, Mike Evans, Nico Collins on the bench. Like I said, Rishi Rice. And if he didn't get hurt, TJ Hawkinson had a lot to do with it as well. So that was a big ding right there. Uh, so like I said, I want to praise both sides. A phenomenal matchup. This was the highest scoring game of every matchup. So I would think, just if we were doing this for an audience like we kind of are, this would be a good championship, one to remember for a little bit, that type deal. I'll always remember it personally, obviously, but if people were actually watching it, it'd be like, that was a close one. That was a high scoring one. Hell yeah. Hope
Yeah,
the
you
screen.
both scored the most amount of points out of anyone.
Yeah. So if we were exactly that, if we were playing anybody else, we both would have won. We're both playing each other. In this round, better team won. And I'll say that. Sorry, Dom. Good team, but I got it this time, pal. And I'll keep on to it. I'll keep on to it forever and ever. Where's my guy? Terry Funk. Say it for me, Terry. Forever. Forever.
Hmm.
Forever. 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 Yeah. Goddamn right. Let's go. Mwah, mwah. Thank you, Terry. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone on my team. I love you, honestly. Now, my next problem, my biggest problem, my biggest issue. What jersey do I buy for myself? Do I go Christian McCaffrey? Do I go Amon-Ra? Do I throw? Actually, for those that don't know, I was looking it up. David Njoku doesn't have a jersey in the Cleveland Browns team store. Are you as mad as I am? Because I know you
What?
are. Yeah. David Njoku. Joe Flacco has a team jersey. He's been on the team for 4 weeks. David Njoku, the guy that burned his face, he's been on the team for like what, 2 years? Unless they sold out, he does not have a jersey currently in
Faceless
stock.
man.
Yeah, he does not have a jersey at the NFL team shop. So do better. I don't want to have to drive out all the way to Cleveland for a David Njoku jersey. Cause I just don't feel like doing that. Yeah, exactly that. Who else? Isaiah Pacheco, Etienne. Honestly, if I had to toss one up and be for real, if I had to choose one from the championship, it would be Etienne because he scored the most. If it would be from just the workhorse, it would be CMC for sure. So, like I said, I already kind of mentioned at the beginning. I really attest my team, not just not to my big brain and knowing stats and keeping up with that. Yes, I did that. I kept up with everything. I watched and looked at stats, but truly, it's the guys that stayed healthy. And among everyone that I just mentioned, what Debo was out for 3 games, Amon was out for a game. When I had Ninjoku, he was never out. CMC was. This is gonna be the first game that Christian McCaffrey's missed all season, and I don't think he's had a full healthy season in his entire career. So shout out to that. Uh, Etienne has played all season long, and that's exactly why CMC's number one and the number one running back, Travis Etienne Jr. and Rashard White. They're 1, 3, and 4. It's not because of they're having 40 points in this game and that game. It's just because they played every single game and played consistently well. So again, 1,000 praises to the men that go on that fucking field and make me sweat and make me enjoy football that much more for this exact thing right here. This is what we fight for. This is what we want. So again, that tweet, that joke, not the joke, but that tweet of like saying like, hey, if you got some extra fantasy football money, this is these guys' actual donations or their charities that they go look into. I think Ian Rappaport or Adam Schefter retweeted it. So make sure you go ahead and double check what I'm talking about. It's worth it. This was our first year with money, so if we I don't want to amp it up, but I was gonna say I'm willing to spread the love a little bit to CMC's charity of choice or something like that. So I'm saying, along with getting a jersey like that, that's gonna be the thing. I'm rambling. Great season, great matchup, great championship. Loved it. Everything in between. Did you have any thoughts? And then you can go ahead and just talk about your matchup between and Sebastian.
Um, yeah, it was a great end to the good season that we had altogether. It's like we were saying, most people, you guys had the high scoring teams in the end, so it was only right that you two were going against each other, and you're just able to get the win. You're the new champ, and we'll see how long this can last, man. But props to you, props to everyone, and as always. Until next year, man.
Yes. No, absolutely. Like I already said, this has to be the most competitive this league has been, just in terms of how balanced everyone's team was, how knowledgeable everyone's been this year, keeping up with free agents. Like, even if you really had to be on top of it, like there was no chance of getting like an extra running back off of our waiver wires at an 8 man. There was just no chance of getting an actual starter unless someone went down. So this was a very, very, very solid season. Shout out to everyone in the league this year.
100%.
Um, yeah, with that, you want to go ahead and talk about you and Sebastian right here?
Yeah, me and Sebastian, I'm last place. I lose 89 to 153. My team got destroyed. What the? Well, I guess I should have started Jordan Love over Josh Allen, but it really wouldn't have mattered. Even if I started all these people that did good on my bench, I still would have lost because Sebastian's team just cooked. Uh, it's a rough end to the season. Had ups and downs, mainly downs, but there's right at the end where I thought I might make it in. But I'm honestly glad I didn't at the end of things because I would have got cooked in the first round, and Dom took the spot that I would have had, and he made it all the way to the end. So props to him. And yeah, it was just a tough year for me all around. I've got last place in 2 leagues. So
Ooh.
there you go.
Was there any link between the teams? Was there like any one player that you may have seen like fucked you over? Like, we already mentioned Eckler in
Austin
this one.
Eckler.
Was it for both? Did you had him
Yeah.
in both? Oh, well. Yeah, that could definitely do you in right there.
And I lost Kirk Cousins in the one league when he was like a very good quarterback this year. And
Yeah.
then once he was gone, I was kind of cooked.
I thought I would have been in that same boat with my brother's league, but it's because it's one person only, one pickup. Well, two actually, drafting Raheem Mostert in the 10th round, and then scooping up Kyron Williams the first week of free agency. So
Hmm.
That's the only reason. Didn't make it to the championship, unfortunately. Able to win third place in that league, but that's basically the only reason. And CD Lamb too, the having the hook. Because people, these cops, this cop league that he's in, they want to drop Dak Prescott and think that we're not gonna see that. It's a 12 man. What are you doing? You're not
Got
gonna,
him.
what are you doing? Dropping Evan Ingram and not scooping up Isaiah Likely when Mark Andrews goes on IR. What are we doing out here? Uh, I always say it jokingly. If it was some firefighters, maybe we'd have had some hope, but still lost that league, so that's fine. I'm yeah, just it was Stephon Diggs. It was to no fault of his own. I think it was just because they switched up. They switched up their offense. They were leaning more on the run, so Stephon Diggs was kind of less and less to be seen. Yeah, but I mean Metcalf, Hopkins, decent. Uh,
Key getting 3.
Yeah, it was Eckler doing you in for sure. Not performing yardage wise, catching anything, and he fumbled, so that takes away a lot. Yeah, flip side, Murray has a nice one. Brees Hall had a huge night on Thursday, and then Devon Achan just nothing you can do. Raheem Mostert was told that, or not told, but Raheem Mostert doesn't play because of his knee, I believe, and Devon Achan was just gonna have a decent day. He ended up having a big one against the Ravens. So 107, 30, and a touchdown. So it is unfortunate. It is definitely it sucks a fat one right there. I definitely feel for you on that one.
Thank you, man.
Always oh I mean that's the best part about that this is a redraft. Throw it under the rug. Not gonna you're not gonna have the same team next year. Unless you really want to, unless you're a lunatic and have that luck, I suppose, of falling in the same picks. But it most likely you're not going to have the same exact team next year. So that's the fun of fantasy.
Oh yeah.
If we're good on that, we can move to the fifth place game really quick. A 132-127 final between the Allens. Allen Ochinos, the Stork Boy, the
Hmm.
Gator, gets this one over Schleims, AJ, in this battle. Like I said, Allen, the Stork Boy, the Gator, all whatever else animal you want to throw his way. He had the hook between Justin Fields and DJ Moore, so that's definitely what pushed him over the edge right there. Because Chris Olave didn't help, Tony Pollard wasn't helping anything else there, or Travis Kelsey. But again, Puka Nakua stepping up, and Cairo Santos might be the best Bear currently playing on the Bears right now. Cairo Santos at 15. Shout out to him. Flip side, Sam Laporta with 15. Brandon Cooks on Saturday had caught a touchdown, and Devontae Adams throwing back
Oh,
the clock a little bit. 38. Kind of flies under the radar because CD Lamb had such a phenomenal performance, but 13 for 126 and 2 touchdowns from Aiden O'Connell, of all people, who actually didn't have that bad of a day himself. I think he threw just under 300 yards and 2 or 3 touchdowns. So
and
shout
I
out to him
still
there.
lost. Wow.
Yeah, the Raiders are bad, but uh, fantasy. We're talking about fantasy, Mike. Hello, welcome to the program. Uh, yeah, a little bit of flippity floppity. Lamar Jackson sitting on AJ's bench, that would have helped a ton. 47 points right there for the potential MVP. But he played Prescott, who again, no fault of his own, who's been having a phenomenal year himself, and had 23 points. Not too shabby for a QB, just not enough right there. Any thoughts on this fifth place game right here?
It was actually very close, within 5 points, and yeah, just the Justin Fields to DJ Moore is really what put Allen over the edge here.
Yeah, this would have been our closest final. Like I said, within four, actually within couple of 4 points of each other, just because with the decimals and all that, 132.32 to 127.9, so almost 128. So like I said, just under 4 points, just over 4 points. If we're good on that one, finish it up with the third place matchup, 158 to 129. Ivan beating the former champ again. Thank you for handing this one off and keeping it so nice and tight. Honestly, Pete, I thought the worst, but you're good. It's all good. It don't smell too bad neither. It's all good. So,
Wow. That's
uh,
surprising from Pete.
yeah, yeah. Maybe we take. Do we take the Stinky off? No, it's Stinky Pete forever. I'm
I
sorry.
thought he would have sold it.
Yeah, no, yeah. I think they found out it wasn't real gold and almost beat him up, but it is what it is. We got there. They got the light changing because it's glistening off here. I'm gonna have to buy
Whoa.
some. I'm gonna buy some polish. Yeah, I'm gonna have to polish this bad boy up. Uh, but what a 158 to 129 final for the third place spot. Ivan gets the dub right there. A lot to hang your hat on right there is Kyron Williams, one of the big name rookie waiver wire moves of the season, if not number one. Brandon Ayuk hit 25, 17 from the Browns defense on Thursday. On the flip side, to try and counter, but just not enough. 24 from Jalen Hurts. Looking like 27 from James Conner. Oh, but he didn't play. He played Raheem Mostert in the lineup. He could have helped himself out a little bit, but whatever. I guess he didn't care. Jameer Gibbs didn't help out either. So 158, 129 final for that third place. What were your thoughts on that? Anything on that one?
80 starts an active player, so he gave up.
Yep.
But
Yeah. I think there
Ivan's
might have been some collusion. Ivan did put in the chat, hey, I want that a third place spot. And Pete probably just like, okay. So that counts as collusion in my mind.
yeah,
Uh,
there'll be strict strikes for that
Yeah,
next season.
there will be repercussions at the draft next year, boys. Watch out.
Yeah.
By the way, pay up. Either way, there you have it. We can take a look quickly if you're good on just the matchups, or if we're all good on that. Just maybe quickly look at our individual drafts. I can also kind of quickly look over everybody else's. I have it entirely in front of my face.
Yeah,
Um,
let me try to get it on. Let me see. I
yeah.
should have a picture here
just
as well.
just from my end, I can quickly go over my order. I was fourth. I was predicted to go fourth, but we won. So projection, schmerschmection, schmove it up your schmucking ass. Uh, Christian McCaffrey at the four slot took Amon St. Brown at the second. Had Garrett Wilson, who I ended up dropping only because he actually he had a bad game, decent season. Should have you'd go out there and catch passes from Zach Wilson. That's what I thought. And to go over 1,000 yards in this season and not have a real quarterback basically all year long. Yeah, Garrett Wilson's a star. I only dropped him because I wanted the roster spot. So I hate to disrespect Garrett Wilson. You were a dog. You were on the squad. This team too. I believe in you. I believe in you. Get a quarterback. Someone will be able to throw to you eventually. I swear. Mark Andrews, he was in the IR spot. He gets one of those, like when Frank Thomas won the Hall, won the World Series with the White Sox. He was kind of just a DH. He was kind of hurt all year. He gets a ring too. So Andrews, you get one too. Travis Etienne Jr. might have been one of the true MVPs besides McCaffrey. Debo Samuel, same thing. Kenneth Walker, Tyler Lockett stuck around with them as well. Oh, it's that chunk that it's the 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 that did it in. Etienne, Samuel, Walker, Lockett, White, Pacheco. All stayed on my team, did a ton throughout the season. Didn't start Tyler Lockett a bunch, but didn't need it when these guys were just doing so well. But it's the complete other half where I have Pickens, Lawrence, Quentin Johnston, AJ Dillon, the Steelers defense, and Daniel Carlson, all of which were gone, if not completely gone off my team now. Wish I stuck around with the Steelers defense. They had a solid season. But George Pickens came and went. Didn't really, again, same thing. Didn't start him a ton. Uh, but yeah, I overall had a solid draft. Felt like it in my bones. Argued between him and between myself, obviously, and another two, I think, for who had the better draft. But maybe just having Lawrence and Quentin Johnston so low, I could have probably even had better picks in that sense, just to not fuck around. But I wanted to have a little bit of fun this year, and sure enough, I did. Fucked around and won the goddamn league. So there you go. What were your thoughts on your draft? Did you think you had any big reaches? What were your biggest accomplishments in said draft?
I was getting mad looking at it.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. I had Eckler and Najee Harris. Just both horrible in the top four picks. Horrible.
Hmm.
And just other players on my team that did nothing. Damian Pierce, Marquise Brown, Odell. Why did I
Damian
draft
Pierce
him?
was doing pretty well. He ended up getting hurt, and then when he came back, he split time. So that's a tough one. It's a little high right now, but yeah, that's that. He's not the worst. Kamara getting him that late, that was a solid move. Still, no matter what.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's the best. I mean, Kamara was the best thing that I got in the draft, but
yeah, definitely getting Kamara at the nine slot. I think that was your home run move right there for sure.
he was
Uh,
great once he came back.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking at other slots, looking at other ones. Um, oh, that's Khalil Herbert at the 11 slot for Dom. Yeah, I mean, uh, Dobbins ends up getting hurt, and for a couple injuries along the way. But again, he can't really get can't worry it too much right there. I was giving Alan some shit, obviously in our group chat, having Pollard at the beginning of the second round. That's a tough look. Uh, at least in my mind, he had shown spurts, but overall he was definitely not just my opinion. Other people share that same feeling that Pollard was just disappointing. But to counter, just so I don't call him off as an ass wipe, Fields and Moore was probably one of the better, if not the best stacks this year,
Wow,
and
yeah.
especially this week in the championship. Like I said, if somehow if you fell into the finals and you had Fields and Moore, they helped you a ton. So that was that. And Allen was more or less, like I said, getting Puka Nakua. He had a ton of waiver wire moves. Has to be between Kyron Williams, has to be the biggest, if not the best, waiver wire moves all year. I can't think of anything else too crazy.
They're
I got
both
Brock
on the
Purdy.
Rams.
Yeah. For myself individually, I would go maybe Brock Purdy because I needed a quarterback all year long. I went through 6 quarterbacks this year, and finally on number 6 at week fucking 8, I finally found it. So that's yeah, and a little shaky. Like, he barely got me into the finals. That get me -2 in the semifinal, but went with it, rocked and rolled, stuck with the hook, got him with between Debo and Purdy. That's what we needed. Uh, I'm trying to think of anybody else. I mean, Raheem Mostert for Pete had to be a huge like, holy shit! Didn't think he had in his career, I believe, 19 touchdowns, and he has 20 plus in this season alone.
Wow.
And this is like his 8th or ninth year in the league. Is Raheem Mostert? Fantasy's crazy. Just football is crazy in general. Being on the Dolphins is crazy. That has to be a big one for Pete. I'm really just I'm not trying to leave anybody off, but maybe just flip over. We'll actually flip back to everyone's team really quick.
Yeah, I'm looking again.
Yeah, maybe for God. Yeah, no, Battle of the Allens. Let me see for AJ. Yeah, I mean, he was dealing with injury. He had 2 stacked quarterbacks all year. It's just a 1A 1B situation when he had Lamar Jackson and Dak Prescott. Is like, oh, who is going to go off for 30 this week? And sure enough, you
Yeah.
can kind of bank on either one right there. Uh, yeah, Allen's side there. Ivan again, same thing. He had Kyron Williams. He was doing the Bengals stack up until that wasn't a thing anymore. And then took I took it. But I put my 49ers spin on it. So there was that. Uh that was awesome. I mean, and taking Jonathan Taylor, I was giving him some guff, giving him some grief right around draft time. Like, this guy might not even fucking play all year, and he actually had a pretty decent season. Showed up and probably won a couple games when he needed it, when he needed to be. So Jonathan Taylor right there is nice. Dom as well. Solid moves all across the board. So, I mean, hopefully, like I said, hopefully at least right now I compliment at least everybody on their team in some sort of regard. Everyone did a phenomenal job. That's what we wanted right there. And I just
Oh
keep taking
yeah.
screenshots of everything that says so. That's fun. That's awesome. That's fantasy. I don't think there's any other final things right there. Yeah, season studs, sleepers, season. Well, the only thing I had left was joking and halfway not. When I did win, my reaction was like, all right, can't wait to start ranking my defenses for next year. All right, where and when is Jahmyr Gibbs going to get drafted? Stuff like that. That was going through my head a little bit of like, I couldn't enjoy it for half a second. I'm enjoying it now forever, but obviously I'm just sitting there like,
Already
how,
on to
I'm just
next
sitting
year.
there like, how can I somehow get McCaffrey, Kyron Williams, and CD Lamb next year? I don't know. Well, we'll figure it out. That was halfway what I was doing. That's fantasy. Until next year, boys, you will be seeing this in every single episode somewhere through circled throughout. It'll be up here. It'll be downstairs with most likely with me throughout the day. But when we come up here for recording time, it'll be in the background there for sure. So maybe we're just right next to Papa, right there, right next to Papa. I want to make sure it don't go too far. So that's
Always in the
fantasy.
area.
Yeah. Again, final. I'll let Commish have the final thoughts on the year. Oh no, scared him.
No, I mean, I feel like I'm just repeating what I've said already
Yeah.
this episode,
Yeah.
but
No, you're good.
yeah, it was a really good season. Everyone always plays hard and drafts the right teams that they need to. Not really any mistakes anymore at this point. No one really reaching or anything. Everyone had a good team, and every game was competitive always. Came down to the wire,
Yeah.
and we
Yeah.
have a new champion, and a never before winner. And that's always I mean, it's a great feeling.
Oh yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
it was a great season, all around great year, and I'd always love to do it all over again.
Yeah. Yes, he wanted me to do a bit at the beginning, like, oh no, like where's the belt? Like I said, nah. The first thing I want people to see is the belt. We're not no gimmicks, no nothing. This. So I want everyone to know right away. I would have been like, oh, I dropped my belt. I don't know what's gonna keep my pants up. Maybe I'll just do this. No, not doing anything. No, nothing. No Pee Wee Herman gimmicks. Look at it. Yeah. So there's that. That's fantasy. With a little bit of time left on the clock. I know we're not a timed podcast or nothing, but a little bit of time left. Let's take over to look at some wrestling. How's that sound?
Yeah.
Coolio. There was an AEW pay-per-view. There was one more wrestling pay-per-view before the year ended, before the world ended, according to the name of the pay-per-view. But before that, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to jump the gun, but The Rock returned last night. Rock returned last night. Uh, that was basically the highlight from Raw episode 1 or Raw day 1 or whatever they want to call this. Jinder Mahal comes out. That's everyone thinks he's the champion to return for this episode. Gives him a little bit of a back and forth. Don't hinder Jinder. I'll never hinder Jinder. Sure enough, The Rock comes out. He hinders Jinder, but he takes care of business, lays down the law, and then cuts a promo saying that he wants to come and be a part of be at the head of the table, wants to fight the table. So I'm paraphrasing. I didn't hear exactly what it was, but here he is, throwing his hat into the WrestleMania part, possibly ring of it. Cody's story will never end. And again, so funny. Somehow, some way, CM Punk finds his way back to WWE, all to get his Mania spot taken again by The Rock. So, congratulations, boys. You played yourself. The Rock coming in back to WWE just for this little occasion, just for that WrestleMania spot, whatever it is. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it's always hype seeing The Rock. I mean, the way they pulled it off was pretty decent. I like the fake with Jinder Mahal. Everyone was so mad. And Rock comes out, proper Rock stuff, whoops his ass, talks shit, and says he wants to sit at the head of the table. So
If you smell, I smell.
he'll probably, I don't know, he'll probably win the Royal Rumble now or something, and he'll end up fighting Roman Reigns. Because I know Roman Reigns isn't just going to give him a match. That could.
I guess not. Man, oh man, if he comes in and eliminates Punk and Rhodes in some way.
That'd be
Oh,
hilarious.
that's just so funny. It's so funny to me. Again, that just like we're getting just again the tribalistic though. We're getting this, we're getting that. The AEW's just a t-shirt company. They're dying, and here comes The Rock. But they don't give a fuck. They'll blindly clap for him. But then they're everything that everyone was planning for just down the toilet. So crazy
Also, I
story.
didn't even think about the CM Punk thing because that's so funny. Because yeah, that's we complained about that so
Yeah,
much,
yeah.
and now they're like, "Hey, guess what? Rock's back."
And I was just talking about this earlier with one of my instructors, with actually co-host of Bad Karma Wrestling over on X Bomb Sports. Make sure you check it out Fridays in the morning. Uh, Endeavor must just be pumping a fuck ton of money right now into not only WWE but actually into TNA with the amount of TNA signings they've been able to make. But this little, they're pumping a lot of money. They're not only, I would agree with what he said, not only are they making a ton of signings, they're making smart money signings. They're not overpaying right now. They're giving them enough to be enticing, but not overpaying by any means. So while it is that's fun and nice to see. Glad to see the wrestlers getting paid. This right now ain't doing it. Like, love me some Rock, sure, but thought we were setting up for anything else. But again, the writing was on the wall for a lot of people. I thought it was just a joke, but sure enough, it looks as though WrestleMania might be Roman versus Rock, and I don't know. I think they're really pushing for Roman beating this modern day record with this title if they just keep throwing in another year of him. If that's going to be the setup, if it's going to be Roman Rock, it might just be another year of that, so he can beat Hogan, so he can beat Harley Racer, whatever whoever the title holder is. It's not gonna be my title, but
Mm.
whoever it may be for. So I think that might be the case. Rock Roman, yeah, this is not it. Yeah, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. Any other lingering thoughts right there before we get to World's End?
If you somehow, what's a Rock's cooking? That. That's it.
That's it. That's it.
He's gonna lose to Roman,
Yep.
and I don't know. A whole nother, I don't know. I don't watch WWE, but
Yeah.
I watch the big pay-per-views. I'll be watching WrestleMania for sure, Royal Rumble, all these. But yeah, if Rock loses and Roman, I mean, Rock will lose because he's not staying around. Like it's
No.
just like those kind of matches are obvious.
Yeah,
Like
the
why
writer
would
strike's
Brock
already
win?
over
He's not
with,
going to
so
stay
he's gonna get
around and be champion.
yeah, he's gonna go back to
So
Hollywood.
it's Roman will beat him, and then what? We have to wait a whole nother year again for
Yes.
Cody to finish.
Yes, we will. Uh so that's gonna be that.
I mean,
Hopefully.
I won't be waiting because again,
No.
I'm not a fan. I won't be waiting, but
Yeah,
that's
I will
just
not. Yeah, it won't be holding our breath on that one for sure.
sorry to you
Not too worried.
WWE fans out there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's that. We can quickly get through some World's End before like I said before my computer completely disconnects. It really wants
No,
to. It really wants to, but
yeah, it
it
keeps happening.
yeah. So we'll battle through. The buy-in was just excuse me, Willow Nightingale and Chris Statlander. Actually, not Nightingale getting the win over Statlander. Didn't see that. Kill Switch, formerly known as Luchasaurus, winning the 20-man battle royal. And Hook and Wheeler Yuta. Hook retains his FTW world title. against Wheeler Yuta. I didn't see any of these matches live. We kind of played them back. The actual main event part, which we caught, was the All-Star 8-man tag. In where Claudio Danielson, Mark Briscoe, and Daniel Garcia got the win. Garcia gets the pin on Jay Lethal, excuse me. I thought that the match, it was in the background. Like I said, watching fantasy while we were playing it back, I didn't see really anything. I'm gonna be completely honest. But I do like that Garcia got the win. He got the pin and the win. Hopefully gets some sort of push, maybe even like a small little run in with like Brody King or something like that to get him over
Mhm.
like that. And then he'll get further booked and pushed like that. I think Daniel Garcia is a very young and underrated talent. So, uh, any thoughts on that? Any thoughts on my comments right there on any of those past couple matches, like I just said?
Yeah, it was kind of cutting out a little, but I know Daniel Garcia, you're talking about Daniel Garcia,
Yeah.
but yeah, he gets the win. Yeah, it was kind of just a random match to start the show, I
Yeah,
feel
just like
like, but
the leftovers from the tournament kind of just got in there. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, kind of hard to say that Danielson's leftovers, but it is what it is. Miro Andrade. Miro gets the win. This will be Andrade's last match, according to Tony Khan in AEW. Pass, fail, or did you want to give a grade maybe on Andrade's overall appearance, career in
Fail.
AEW? Failure. Yeah. If you're doing pass, fail in the sense that he didn't win in the individual title, you'd go with fail. If you give him a grade, I'd probably go with a C minus to a D plus, just because very interesting matches, just nothing that stuck. Had some background issue, or not background issues, but just behind the scenes issues. With I think Guevara, I believe it was. So didn't look all good, but there was potential there. So disappointing and unfortunate that it didn't get done, but he's gonna be a little bit happier. He'll be back with Charlotte, so that's fine there. Any thoughts with that? I'm sorry, you already said pass. You already said fail.
Yeah, he'll be back with Charlotte, like you said. That's
Yeah,
fun for him.
yeah, exactly. And I mean, Miro's with CJ with his wife as
Lana,
well. So
CJ
Lana,
Perry,
CJ
yeah.
Perry, Tony Storm, Riho or Tony Storm retains. That's a huge plus. I mean, the match may not have been fair, all that great or whatever, but just the fact that Tony Storm, the most over thing right now in wrestling, besides maybe MJF's route, it retains and is going to maintain that. That's awesome. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, we love Tony Storm here. So I'll let her continue to do what she does with Mariah May, and we love it.
Yeah. Dustin Rhodes fills in for Keith Lee against Swerve Strickland. Uh, backpedal a little bit. I know there could have been a ton of other names you throw in there, all those young talent that could high fly and jump around and do this and do that. Yes. However, this is a tougher spot for Tony. Little last second. So kind of just need somebody, and you need somebody that can go on a pay-per-view and just hasn't missed. So I'm okay with it being Dustin Rhodes. Am I excited if that was the first match? That no, wouldn't be jumping around. But I know as a wrestling fan, I know Dustin Rhodes can go borderline, if not for sure, Hall of Famer into the WWE Hall of Fame. We can get into that another time if you want to argue that, but I think we're kind of on that same page. But Dustin Rhodes in that spot was able to go, did his job. He sort of beat the piss out of him, so he played the heel role while still being mega over. Be just so over. He's so over. It's crazy. It's so insane how over he is right now. Just pumping out the hits. So again,
Everyone loves him.
yes, exactly. So I can understand the argument or the feeling of like, oh, why Dustin Rhodes? There could have been a worse part. And like I said, I'm glad that if it was just Tony Khan's decision right there, if it was just his singular decision, glad he went with a guy that wasn't gonna, fumble the bag on a pay per view in such an important spot with this red hot fucking character in Swerve Strickland. So I like the move. So again, that people can hate on it. You could be like, oh, it's a
Yeah.
missed opportunity. But I hope in that in that argument, that sets up for that sense. So, uh, I'll let you hold on. I'll come back and let you get your thoughts on that. Oh, what? Yeah, what were you had a thought right there just before I got cut off.
Um, yeah, Swerve is just one of the best right now in AEW and all of wrestling, and I'm interested to see how they continue to progress his character, what he wins in the future. But
Yeah,
yeah, Dustin Rhodes able to get the job done.
yeah,
Not the most exciting person that you want to see wrestle, but he's able to play ring general and get it done. So that's what you need
yeah. They get. I mean,
sometimes.
for what it's worth, Bleacher Report has the match at a C plus. Again, I'm not giving it 5 stars, but if I'm gonna have to spin zone it into that way that I just did, I can live with that. 8-man tag, Jericho, Guevara, Sting, Darby. Last time Sting is in New York City for a match. Facing on Ricky Starks, Big Bill, Powerhouse Hobbs, and Takeshna. I believe
I'll be
Sammy.
right back, so you can just keep. I'll be like back in 1 minute.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I believe Sammy Jericho, Darby, and Sting went ahead and got the dub. Well, I would have loved if we stuck around, but I'll go ahead and just kind of keep it going on the. We'll murky up the waters, but I'll of course start off as we always was. It's allegations. So allegedly, Chris Jericho has been hitting on or just been a part of some unfortunate sightings online, whatever it may be, the tweets, the DM conversations that he's had, the post that said, can we talk about Chris Jericho now finally? And then Kylie Ray liking the post, so that opened up the interpretation for it. Mike, as you're just catching up on it, like I just said, I talked about the 8-man tag, but that kind of just more or less talked about the allegations that were writing behind Chris Jericho. I'm on neither side. Obviously, there's just no proof. There's no, in my point of view, there's nothing damning that's like, there's screenshots and everyone's calling for his head, but the one screenshot that I saw of him just messaging a journalist was simply that. So it was, oh, so you're a journalist, and that was the screenshot. That was it. So again, take it as you may. I'm not covering for him. I'm not vouching for him. I'm not asking for his head. I'm just asking for proof. That's it. And until then, and then based on whatever is provided, that's when I'll make my determination of whether he is guilty, innocent, whatever it may be. And that's not even my, it's not even my decision. It's not even my what I'm supposed to be here for. So, it's a bad look. It's a tough look. Right before the pay per view was getting ready to go, and other people kind of throwing up that one video of him kind of going up against or not trying to vouch for Vince McMahon. That's a tough look, but that's not like, it's not proof. That's not proof. So again, I hope I'm not completely like, oh, you're sympathetic for a guy like that. I'm just out here asking questions. So I don't know. That's just me right now. Everyone else seems to be able to crucify anybody they may. I'm just out here wondering what's up. So, uh, again, anything to get away from a Chris Jericho storyline seems to be what it is. So I'll leave it with that, as hopefully Mike is able to reconnect one more time. But if not, we'll just go ahead, power
I'm
through.
sorry.
Oh no, you're good. You're good,
I
dude.
don't know what's happening.
No, you're fine. We're at the tail end of it anyways. Did you have any quick thoughts on Jericho? Just on the, maybe like I said, the allegations, allegedly allegations, nothing proven.
Yeah, I mean, like you were saying, it's kind of just hearsay right now. There wasn't really any stuff out there specifically showing what he did, or I mean, it was just people saying stuff. So
Yeah.
I don't know what to really believe right now at this point, like you were saying.
Yeah.
So I'm on the neutral side.
Yeah, the only thing on it that I kind of am on the internet side is, if you were asked a question to be fair, maybe not a fair question to be asked when you're in this media scrum and you're trying to just have fun. Tony Khan was asked like about the safety, about what he thinks AEW is the safety for his female wrestlers, and he didn't take off the sunglasses and the weird wacky hat that he had on, so that it can go either way on that again. While that's not professional to have that to be answering such a question, it is kind of like unprofessional on the other side to be asking such a question in that scenario. Whatever, I get it. You have your opportunity. You need to take it. It is what it is. That's that. Abaddon, Julia Hart. Julia Hart wins. Didn't care. Copeland and Christian. Thoughts. This was a little bit all over the place. The table spot, the fire spot not going through. Copeland winning and then not winning all in one full swoop. Because like I said, us mentioning, I didn't even know that there was a 20-man battle royal. I didn't know how Luchasaurus had gotten a TNT title shot. Apparently, that's how he did from early in the day. Gives it to Christian in exchange for nothing for his undying loyalty, I suppose. And that's that. He's able to just give him the title shot. So wins it and then unwins it all in one full swoop. Question. Yeah. Anything on Adam Copeland getting his first TNT title and losing it right after?
Um,
I just like that Adam Copeland was in his WrestleMania 22 gear. That was really fucking cool.
that was cool. The table spot was horrible, like you said, and yeah, I mean, I guess the ending it kind of gives it in a way where Adam Copeland wins, but he's still like Christian was still able to keep the belt by using the contract that Killswitch won, which I don't even know when he won that, but
The battle royal earlier in the day.
oh,
Yeah, that's what I mentioned. That
oh,
20-man battle royal. That's he won that. That was for that. It was for a TNT,
okay.
an opportunity at the TNT title eventually.
Okay, so he just used that, and I mean,
Yeah,
I
he
thought it
gave it to
was all
Christian
right.
Cage. Yeah, so
It worked
that's
out for both guys. So,
yeah. Shout out to Nick Wayne's mom.
oh,
Uh, let's see. Kingston and Moxley, probably a baller of a match, banger back and forth, be the piss out of each other. I'm only kind of skipping over it just so we can get to the main event. Just shout out to Kingston. This whole tournament was a nice little storyline to like, hey, I'm down and out. A little bit of the underdog story, even though he was the main guy from the get go, but wins his 3 titles back, beats Moxley, hasn't probably beaten Moxley. Not a lot of people have beaten Moxley. So while we were kind of questioning, like, oh, why Moxley? Why did he win the tournament or win the blue side? Or, yeah, why did he win the blue side? So we can go on, face Kingston, have that full circle of coming together. He did it for his mother. So shout out to Eddie Kingston. Yeah, finally this was the get go. Samoa Joe and MJF. This, I mean, again, spoiler ahead. We'll wait 3 seconds. Yes, everyone revealed the double was revealed. Samoa Joe gets the AEW title, and yeah, sure enough, right at the end, that was what everyone was waiting for. Did not expect Samoa Joe to win the title, honestly. Uh, Being that they were in Long Island, but that was okay. Love the overall just the arc of Samoa Joe going from being WrestleMania commentary a couple odd years ago to having the AEW World Heavyweight title being the main focus of an entire brand. So that's just, or excuse, not even just a brand, a whole company. Uh, but
oh,
that's just that. Oh god,
no, yeah, which Samoa Joe's awesome. I've always been a fan of him, and WWE never gave him a proper shot. So,
yeah. I was fine either way. Obviously, MJF is my favorite. So if MJF continued his reign, more power to him. And exactly that, Samoa Joe's just been a dog, and I've enjoyed every single ounce of his work in every single company he's been a part of. Uh, but yeah, this was fine. But the big reveal at the end was the mask, who's under it, all the devil's minions running around, and sure enough, so we knew who it was later on down the line, but it was still a good reveal. Nice way to unpack it the way that they did. Adam Cole is the devil. Roderick Strong was helping him set up. He handed him the chair. He's fine. His neck's not broken. Here's Wardlow. Interesting add to it. But Mike Canell, is it Mike Kanellis or who's the Mike? It's Matt Taven and Mike.
Yeah, Mike Taven and Mike Kanellis, I
Okay,
think it is.
Kanellis. Okay, I was right on that. So Matt Taven, who are currently the AEW or the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions, had that one last week. Uh, but that's the devil. That's the devil's squad. That's the devil's minions or whatever. I think I'm gonna enjoy this next set, this next year of this little storyline right here. A makeshift sort of you know, uh, fucking boom squad there that they had in NXT or whatever the hell they called them. I can't think of it off the top of my head. Uh, I think that's gonna be great. I think it's gonna be fine. And MJF, I know they're working like, oh, he's off the AEW roster page. Pretty sure he's locked up in a contract, and he already said that in some article he just wanted to make sure that this storyline was seen all the way through. He's got a bunch of injuries right now. He's just gonna take some time and get better. So do that, MJF. We want you around forever. We want you around for a long time, not just a good
Yes.
time. So forever, forever.
Forever.
Yes. So I mean, just quickly dash it over to you. Thoughts on everything I just mentioned, from the reveal to the match to the future of this upcoming year in AEW. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, again, Samoa Joe, I think he'll be a great champion with however they proceed with this. He's going to be great. He's always been great, no matter what, if he has a belt or not. His promos and wrestling always backs up whatever he's saying. He's just tremendous wrestler. So I'm glad he's the face of AEW for right now. MJF will get to relax, and Adam Cole is the devil with all of these fools. I don't know if Adam Cole's still hurt or not. I don't
I think he
know.
is legitimately hurt. That showed me that if he didn't, he should have taken off the boot. That would have proved to me,
Yeah, that's true.
fake injury or just kind of pulling on the injury. But he may have legitimately quote blew up his ankle. I think that was the word, that his ankle exploded. Was the word.
That
Uh,
just sucks.
yeah, that's
I
absolutely
was hoping
bonkers.
that that was all work,
No,
but
I was too, but again, he can still, if they've gone as long as they have with the injury and he's still being somewhat apartful and very much useful. I'm sure getting healthier, actually being able to be in the building and not have to have I think he's still walking around with the crutches, but he can be that mouthpiece just now. He's like, oh, do my bidding and I'll be healthy in 3 or 4 more months type deal. So
yeah.
I think that's fine. World's End may not have been the best AW pay-per-view of all time.
No.
It cleaned up more towards the end, but it hit and it needed to get where it needed to go. So that was okay. Like I said, not the best, could have been better, but definitely a solid pay-per-view. Solid way to end the year. And I think that's a solid way to end this episode right here.
Huh.
Episode number 50 in the books. Unless you have any other final thoughts lingering, any right there? Anything?
No, I mean, yeah, it was a decent pay-per-view and ready to move on to next AEW show, next AEW pay-per-view and whatever is just next in line, man.
I'm interested
We're
to see what
ready
the
for
what
it.
the Young Bucks are cooking up. And I know the FTR was kind of working the Ring of Honor, but I was a little, give me some FTR. That'll
Yeah,
make
it's
my
been a
ass
minute.
happy. Give me FTR, give me some of the guns. Uh that's been fun. But honestly, I can't complain. I had MJF, had Swerve Strickland. That's an alright pay per view. That's pretty good. So without further ado, maybe hopefully that's the later on down the line. Swerve gets his title shot, but I digress. We'll get to that later. Episode 50 in the books. Thank you
Wow.
very much. Get your hands off this fucking title. It's not yours, you whore. It's mine. Uh, Episode 50 in the books. Thank you everyone for watching, listening, tuning in, sticking with us all through this fantasy season. If you were listening in just to stick around for our advice, again, I hopefully we helped you out. If you were just sticking around just to enjoy the narrative of our personal league, hopefully you enjoyed that as well, because I sure as fuck did. So again, Thank you for everyone that's watching, listening, sharing, liking, subscribing, everything else in between. Check out the daily stuff that we're doing. Sports Pit, STC, Sports Pit on twitch.tv/Sportstown Shy over there, doing stuff also on just Bad Karma Wrestling, everything else in between. Probably going live this week. I don't know just yet because I'll be over at fucking the Now Arena setting up for Windy City Bulls. But like I said, I'm trying to get, maybe I'll get in on Wednesday. We'll see. Might do an impromptu episode tomorrow live. But regardless, thank you, Mike, for putting up with me all season, for putting up with me during this episode. Again, that's again, that's all you. You take the time out of your day to do this, and I very much appreciate that. So again, happy New Year to everybody. Hopefully you started off on the right foot like I did, and exactly that. So we love yous, and we'll see yous. Take care. Bye bye.